Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. This is Game God Fluent, bringing you episode 2 of Let's Play Dragon Age Origins Ultimate Edition. Still a little under the weather, as I was in episode 1, because I just played that a little bit ago. Not feeling too terrible, so looking to definitely play more. Let's get right into it. Not sure how I'm going to control the character yet. You're the second child of... Wow. Okay. Alright, if I zoom out here, then WASD... Okay, it still moves me. Let's go ahead and check our journal. Kuzlins of Highever. Your father, Terran Bryce Kuzlin, and Arl Howe have been summoned by King Kaelin to the battle at Ostagar. However, Arl Howe's forces have been delayed. You've been sent to tell your brother, Fergus, that he should leave for Ostagar ahead of your father. Fergus is probably in his room saying goodbye to his wife and child. So I wonder if these quests... Premium content. Journey to Soldier's Pass, where a troubled merchant awaits with a deal that may be too good to be true. That sounds interesting. Well, door. I'm wondering if we can complete these quests and stuff without the quest helpers.
Good evening, my lord.
Cool. I guess he's upstairs.
There you are. Your mother told me the Terran had summoned you, so I didn't want to interrupt.
Sir Gilmore. Why are you looking for me?
I fear your hound has the kitchens in uproar once again, and is threatening to leave.
She was my nanny before she was the cook. Nan won't leave.
Your mother disagrees. She insists you collect the dog, and quickly. You know these Mabari hounds. They listen only to their master. Anyone else risks having an arm bitten off.
He knows better than to hurt anyone.
I'm not willing to test that. You're quite lucky to have your own Mabari warhound, you know. Smart enough not to talk, my father used to say. Of course, that means he's easily bored. Nan swears he confounds her just to amuse himself. At any rate, your mother would have me accompany you until the matter is settled, shall we?
Where is my mother exactly?
She was entertaining Lady Landra and her son when I left her. Perhaps in the atrium? Before we go, my lord, might I beg a question? I've heard from several people that a Grey Warden is here. Is that true?
His name is Duncan. I met him.
Then, is it also true that this Grey Warden was asking after me?
I'm not certain. Maybe.
Maybe? Have mercy! Is he asking after me or not?
Fine. Yes, he thinks you might be recruit material.
Maker's breath. Are you certain? Can you imagine? Me, a Grey Warden? It would be everything I've dreamed of. Of course, I shouldn't get ahead of myself. Pardon my outburst.
Mischief in the larder. New party member has joined you. You can take control of this character directly by left-clicking on his or her portrait or body. Alternately, you can use the tactics menu to adjust how the AI controls them. Tactics menu backspace? Oh, this stuff. Okay, he's got a scrapper preset. Behavior. Default. Yeah, that's fine. We'll get into that later.
Good
Is this...
evening, my lord.
Good evening. Where would the larder be? Oh, okay. Atrium. Library. Guard post. Study. Alright, let's just head right to the kitchen then. We can get around this place. Not too bad. Good evening, Giles. Guess this would be the kitchen.
Very well.
Servant, cook. Area map. The area map displays a top-down view of your current area. Some regions will only be revealed when you explore them. By default, plot helpers are not shown in unexplored regions, but you can change this in the option menu.
Get that bloody mutt out of the larder.
But mistress, it won't let us near.
If I can't get into that larder, I'll skin both of you useless elves. I swear it.
Calm down, good woman. We've come to help.
You and you. Your bloody mongrel keeps getting into my larder. That beast should be put down.
What? I'm sorry he's bothering you, Nan.
Just get him gone. I've enough to worry about with a castle full of hungry soldiers. You two, stop standing there like idiots. Get out of the way.
Tutorial, inventory, and equipment. To equip new items, you'll need to open the inventory screen. Do so now by clicking on the highlighted icon and press I. Tactics. The tactics screen is a tool used to customize your party's actions and reactions based on current situations in combat. AI general behavior. A party member's general behavior can be configured using the drop-down menu at the top right side of the screen. For example, should he or she charge at enemies or be more cautious? Does this party member prefer ranged or melee weapons? Tactics slots let you set up automatic actions that the party member will take in specific situations, like casting heal whenever a party member drops below 50% health. Tactics are displayed in a numbered list. Each tactic requires a condition and an action. The condition determines when to execute the tactic. The action determines what happens when the tactic fires. Tactic slots at the top of the list are highest priority. They will activate before ones further down in the list. You can recognize tactic slots by left-clicking on a number and dragging. Tactic slots can also be temporarily disabled by left-clicking on the plus symbol in front of the slot. To re-enable the tactic, click the plus again. AI tactics presets. You can save a set of tactics at any time. Click the Save Preset button to store the current settings. Use the presets pull down to switch between different sets of conditions and actions. New party member has joined you. Journal. Tracks updates to your current objectives and records the results of prior exploits. This includes quests completed as well as codex entries that describe the world around you. At the bottom of the journal screen, the Make Active button lets you designate the quest you're currently working on, which activates arrows on the map and in the game world that direct you to the next point in the plot. Okay. Inventory. Let's open it. Okay. Leather armor rough. To unequip, drag an item from its icon on the left of the screen back to your inventory. Remove your character's armor or clothing now. To equip, drag items from your inventory directly onto your character or the appropriate icon spaces. Replace your armor. For easy access to consumable items, place them in your quick bar. Drag an item to your quick bar now. Lesser health poultice by type 3. Three of them. A skilled herbalist has rendered a variety of medicinal ingredients in this soothing restorative substance. Health poultices instantly restore some of the user's health. Bong bong. Item set bonus. Magic equipment is providing an item set bonus. We have a dagger in each hand. Damage 4. Damage 4. Crit chance 3%. Armor penetration 4. We've got leather boots. Here's our stats. 4 armor. Armor reduced damage done to a character from physical attacks. A weapon's armor penetration score directly counteracts the opponent's armor rating. We have a 4 there. Defense is 56. Increase the chance of dodging or parrying physical attacks. Missile deflection 66. Our attack is 59. Increases the likelihood of... I can't talk today. My mouth is dry. Of successfully landing physical attacks. And damage main hand and damage offhand. The equipped weapon's potential damage against an unarmored opponent adjusted for the speed of the weapon. 6.5. Fatigue. Wearing armor causes fatigue, which is a percentage increase of the basic mana or stamina cost to activate a spell or talent. We have 105 stamina, consumed when using talents or spells. 90 health. How much damage a character can sustain without falling in battle. A character whose health is completely depleted may sustain an injury. And we have leather gloves. And that's providing the bulk of our armor, the leather armor. We have a blood dragon plate, massive armor. Requires 38 strength. I don't know where that came from, and I don't know why we have it, but whatever. Fatigue. Although armor provides great protection, safety comes at a price. Anything heavier than regular clothing causes fatigue, which increases the mana or stamina cost of spells and talents by a percentage. Sturdy armors like plate carry more of a penalty than lightweight leathers, but some talents like the warrior's powerful can reduce the effects of fatigue. Inventory is divided into two sections: equipped items for the selected character on the left and shared party inventory on the right. You can drag and drop items between the two sides or down to the quick bar. Double click to use or equip them automatically, or right click and hold to open the radial menu to interact with items. Okay. So I take it we're going to get into some combat here.
It has begun.
Oh, look at that mess. How did he even get in here?
Are you trying to tell me something, boy?
He does seem like he's trying to tell you something. Wait, did you hear that?
Please enter a name for the dog. How about Moogy? Moogy the Mabari. Moogy. Dogs in Ferelden. You're in a combat situation. Mastery of the battlefield is important. Zoom out. Combat to gain a better view of your situation. You can also pause for tactical preparation by pressing space. To attack an enemy, simply right-click on them. To use a talent, left-click on it in your quick bar to use it against your current target. Whoa, pause. Moogy. Go attack that one. You attack that one. Ow. Dirty fighting. I'll just attack that one.
Tell me what to do.
Now we do battle. It has begun.
Moogy, go attack that one.
We must fight! And stay away!
Very well.
Looking good so far. Getting plenty of XP. Dang, that's a lot of dead rats.
It's like the start of every bad adventure tale my grandfather used to tell. The hound must have chased them in through their holes. Looks like he wasn't raiding the larder after all.
Certainly looks that way.
Those were rats from the Kokari Wilds. Best not to tell Nan. She's upset enough as it is. But seeing as you've got your Mabari well in hand, I'll be on my way. I'm to prepare for the arrival of more of the Isle's men.
See you, Sir Gilmore. Moogy. Okay, we're gonna definitely... There's my XP bar, by the way. We're gonna definitely
I shall do it.
check the codex in this episode. Fungi, a deep mushroom. Fungi found underground in close proximity to lyrium veins. In addition to the restorative properties, they can also be made into poisons. After chewing a deep mushroom, the user regains a small amount of stamina. Spellcasters gain no benefit from deep mushrooms. And we can also hit Alt or Tab, I mean. So look around. There's a wooden crate. Another deep mushroom. Nan likes her deep mushrooms. Okay, let's come out.
There he is, as brazen as you please, licking his chops after helping himself to the roast, no doubt.
He's not so bad, Nan. Just a dog being a dog.
Look at him now. Snuck into my larder once again and makes off like a free thief, he does.
Oh, mistress, there are rats in the larder. Big ones.
Ah, looks like the dog killed them.
Oh, I bet that dog led those rats into there to begin with. Oh, don't even start with the sad eyes. I'm immune to your so-called charms. Here then. Take these pork bits and don't say that Nan never gives you anything. Bloody dog.
Oh.
Thank you, my lord. Now we can get to work. That's right, you two. Quit standing about.
Cool. Anything else in here I can take? Let's talk to the servant.
We will serve you while the Terran is away.
The castle is so eerie with everyone preparing to ride south. It'll be so empty.
Alright, let's go ahead and check. Is it in the journal, the codex? Codex. Okay, wow. It's got the full codex like Mass Effect. Unbelievable. I never looked into this when I can't say that. The second time I played Dragon Age Origins a few years ago or something, I did look at this. But I forgot all about it. Alright, creatures. We have creature number 17, a Mabari Warhound. This is Moogy. Dogs are an essential part of Ferelden culture, and no dog is more prized than the Mabari. The breed is as old as myth, said to have been bred from the wolves who served Dane. Prized for their intelligence and loyalty, these dogs are more than mere weapons or status symbols. The hounds choose their masters and pair with them for life. To be the master of a Mabari anywhere in Ferelden is to be recognized instantly as a person of worth. The Mabari are an essential part of Ferelden military strategy. Trained hounds can easily pull knights from horseback or break lines of pikemen, and the sight and sound of a wave of war dogs howling and snarling has been known to cause panic among even the most hardened infantry soldiers. Creature number 22, a rat. What are you, mad? Even the most giant of rats isn't going to present much of a problem to anyone larger than a cat. Even the stories in the archives that tell of blight-touched rats still only attributed them with the ability to spread the plague. The rats themselves got no larger than perhaps 3 feet in length, covered in sharp bony spikes and boils. Disturbing, certainly, but dangerous? This is no fantasy conjured by madmen, young man. You have much more important creatures to concern yourself with. Transcript of a lecture given by Nalia, senior enchanter of Hosberg, 844 Blessed. Note, she was later eaten by a blight rat in 846 Blessed. Oh, dang. R.I.P. Nalia. Culture and history. There's 69 entries. Let's read them from the front. Dogs in Ferelden. I am frequently asked during my travels in other lands to explain dogs omnipresent in Ferelden. Inevitably, I tell my foreign questioners that there are no more dogs in my homeland than in their own. In every civilized corner of Thedas, an astute observer will notice dogs employed in hunting game, keeping barns and storehouses free of vermin, herding livestock, guarding homes, and even used as beasts of burden in the mountains. It is simply that Ferelden show appreciation for the work that our dogs do, and perhaps the reason that is tangled up in mythology. Hafter, the first man to be named Terran, the hero who united all Alamari ancestors to drive back the darkspawn of the second blight, was reputed to be son of a werewolf. Now, perhaps this was meant to be some comment on his temperament, or simply a way of making a great man even larger than life. But more than half of the noble families in Ferelden claim to be descendants of Hafter, and consequently many of our people believe they have some distant kinship with wolves. It is only good manners to be polite to one's kin. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Chantry Scholar, by Brother Genitivi. Then we've got Highever. Castle Highever has stood since the Divine Age, when it was not an independent Banorn, but merely an outpost of the growing Banorn of Amaranthine in the days before Amaranthine became an Arling itself. The outpost of Highever was originally held by the Elston family cousins of Howes. In the early age of Towers, however, Ban Conabar Elston was murdered by his wife Flemeth, thus ending the bloodline. Conabar's captain of the guard, Sarum Kuzlin, took the lands and title. The Kuzlins declared their independence from Amaranthine, starting a war that lasted 30 years. When the dust settled, Highever was on its own and in possession of half the land that had once been southwestern Amaranthine. Highever became a Tainir during the Black Age when Halia Kuzland gathered the lords together under her banner to drive the werewolves out of their lands, earning herself the title of Terna almost as an afterthought. Today, however, is one of only 2 remaining Taenirs, making the Kuzlin family second in rank only to the king. From Ferelden Folklore and History by Sister Patrine, Chantry Scholar. That's interesting. The Grey Wardens. The first blight had already raged for 90 years. The world was in chaos. A god had risen, twisted, and corrupted. The remaining gods of Tevinter were silent, withdrawn. What writing we have recovered from those times is filled with despair. For everyone believed, from the greatest archons to the lowliest slaves, that the world was coming to an end. At Weishaupt Fortress in the desolate Anderfels, a meeting transpired. Soldiers of the Imperium, seasoned veterans who had known nothing their entire lifetimes except hopeless war, came together. When they left Weishaupt, they had renounced their oaths to the Imperium. They were soldiers no longer, they were the Grey Wardens. The Wardens began an aggressive campaign against the Blight, striking back against the Darkspawn, reclaiming lands given up for lost. The Blight was far from over, but their victories brought notice, and soon they received aid from every nation in Thedas. They grew in number as well as reputation. Finally, in the year 992 of the Tevinter Imperium, upon the Silent Plains, they met the Archdemon Duma in battle. A third of all the armies of northern Thedas were lost to the fighting, but Dumat fell and the Darkspawn fled back underground. Even that was not the end. The Imperium once revered 7 gods: Dumat, Zazakel, Toth, Andorol, Razikael, Lusicon, and Urthemiel. 4 have risen as archdemons. The Grey Wardens have kept watch through the ages, well aware that peace is fleeting, and that their war continues until the last of the dragon gods is gone. From Ferelden Folklore and History by Sister Patrine, Chantry Scholar. Then we've got characters, 30 of them. Moogy, the Mobari is clever enough to speak and wise enough to know not to, Ferelden proverb. Matthew's Warhound has a pedigree older than High Ever and a penchant for driving cooks to distraction. Duncan, men and women from every race, warriors and mages, barbarians and kings, the Grey Wardens sacrificed everything to stem the tide of darkness and prevailed. Like many others, Duncan gave up his family name when he joined the ranks of the Wardens, a symbolic gesture of cutting ties. You might say this was a convenience in his case, however. His mother was from the Anderfels, his father from Tevinter. His childhood was spent in the Free Marches and Orlais. His people were everywhere and his homeland was nowhere. He was given the almost impossible task of leading the Wardens in Ferelden, a kingdom that had thrown the Order out 200 years earlier. Facing local suspicion and hostility, he set about finding recruits. Arl Rendon Howe. It will be good to ride into battle once more, won't it, old friend? The Arling of Amaranthine winds along the sinuous northeastern coast of Ferelden. The waking sea is known for its temper, and the storms that sweep in from the warmer northern waters are sudden and brutal. These are the lands of Rendon Howe. He was born during the occupation and, like many of the nobles at the time, joined Prince Merrick's rebels. He fought alongside young Bryce Kuzlin, future Terran of High Ever, and Leonis Brylan, future Arl of South Reach, at the bloody Battle of White River. It was the most catastrophic defeat of the entire occupation, from which only 50 rebel soldiers escaped alive. Although he was decorated for valor by King Merrick, Howe's abrasive manners have earned him almost universal dislike among his peers. Huh. Notes. We met him. 250. Feast Day Gifts. Credits. Senior Leadership. What? Feast Day Pranks credits. Okay. You can go ahead and look at those. Pause the video if you'd like. Controls. Tactics. Area map. Combat basics. Controlling party members. Exploration. Fatigue. Inventory and journal. And that would be everything so far. Alright, cool. Alright, is there a quick save button? F5? Sure is. Let's head out now. Pantry. Main hall. Your room. Fergus's room. Let's go to the... let's see where we end up in. Minimap on the top right is useful too. Oh, what is that? Kitchen. Oh. Let's see what's in the library. Alduus and Squires.
Hello, my dear boy. By chance, I am beginning to teach these young squires about your family's history.
Do we have to? History is boring.
Boys, you are referring to the Couslands, the very family in whose castle you live. Show some respect.
Still the same taskmaster, I see.
If the mind is not exercised, it withers just as the body does. Perhaps you'd care to join me in teaching the lesson?
Certainly, I'd be happy to.
Wonderful. Oh, the Cousland history is long indeed. Where shall we start?
When was our line founded?
Records are vague, but the Couslands became Tierns during the Black Age. Is that familiar, child?
Cunning during the lycanthrope plagues.
Good. I'm pleased some of my lessons seem to have stuck. At that time, your family held only the minor title of Ban. When the werewolves reached this area, Ban Mather Cousland organized a curfew and patrols within the city. Several other local bands supported his efforts by swearing oaths of fealty, making him their Tiern.
Their Tiern, okay. We predate the founding of the kingdom, yes?
Well, I'm glad some of my lessons don't disappear into that yawning chasm between your ears, young man.
It's your skill as a tutor, of course.
If I were truly a skilled tutor, I suspect I would not encounter such insouciance amongst my pupils. You can look that up later. At any rate, your family has held the tournure of High Ever since before King Callan had united Ferelden. In fact, Tierna Elethea Cousland battled Callanhad to maintain High Ever's independence.
We oppose the king?
The Couslands are ardent royalists now, but at that time, Callanhad was unknown and considered dangerous by many. When Callanhad's army reached High Ever, Tierna Elethea led the local bands against him. Obviously, Callanhad won.
And Callanhad let us keep the Tairnir?
Callanhad wished to unite Ferelden, not conquer it. After Elethea's men were defeated, Callanhad asked her to swear fealty. The boulder where they held council still stands today as a memorial of that event.
Neat. Tell about our relationship with Arl Howe.
The history between the Couslands and the Howes reaches back to the Orlesian occupation.
When did Orlais occupy High Ever?
During your grandfather's rule. Of course, Orlais found it difficult to hold these lands. During the rebellion against Orlais, several battles were fought near High Ever. The port village of Harper's Ford was the tourneur's center. Its Arl was Tarleton Howe. Though nearly 90, he was still as sharp and bitter as cheap ale. Your grandfather openly supported the rebellion, but Howe sided with Orlais. Your family was forced to seize Harper's Ford before it was all over.
We fought the house?
Your grandfather couldn't afford to lose Harper's Ford. In keeping the town, your family drove Orlais from its lands. The Howes eventually joined the rebellion, when all of Ferelden united behind King Merrick and General Loghain. Just as now we united behind Merrick's son, King Callan, to fight the Darkspawn.
Time to end the lesson, I think.
Thank you for indulging an old man.
Does that mean we have to listen to you now?
Silence! I will not have you two becoming smart-mouthed hooligans. Perhaps you should go. I doubt they need any more distraction. I'm just going to settle in here and apparently just talk to myself for all the good.
New Codex, the Noble Families of Ferelden, Geography of Ferelden. Cool.
Mother says the Darkspawn will all be killed and I won't see one. Is that true? I'm going to be a knight just like my father. Then I'll kill Darkspawn too.
Good luck.
Good evening, my lord.
Books. History of Ferelden, Chapter 1. Codex. Oh, okay. Another book over here somewhere.
Very well.
History of Ferelden, Chapter 2. I guess that would be it in here. Cool. Thank you. I'll do's. What is this? Study. Let's go check the study. Another book. Culture of Ferelden. They really put a lot into this Dragon Age world, and we're really going to see it throughout all 3 games. I mean, of course, I want to focus on this game first. But, what is that? Guard post? We're going to see a lot, even in this game as well, of the world that BioWare has crafted.
Oh, my lord, we were just,
Taking a break?
well, the treasury's safe. I'm not even sure why the Terran stationed us here.
Did my father fear someone would steal something?
I don't know. Nobody has come to look at the treasury.
Who has the key to the treasury?
The Terran, and perhaps the Tanner? Honestly don't know, my lord.
Continue your game. Pretend I never came by.
My lord is very kind to show us such lenience.
No worries.
Thank you for your lenience, my lord.
Quick save. Let's see. This would be what? An empty room? Unlocked. Wow, you automatically lock it. New screenshot? Oh, locked item. You just encountered a locked object. You might be able to pick the lock if your skill is high enough, or you might need to locate a key through adventure and negotiation. Well, I apparently lockpicked it. Oh, nifty. Wow, 2 chests. Weapon stand with a mace. That does 5 damage and 0.5 critical chance, which is not much, but iron tier 1. Okay, we'll take it. We can sell that. Let's see what's in the chest. A blank vellum. Fine treated lambskin suitable for exacting illustration and script. Unlocked 10 XP. I'm not sure what that's used for. Blank vellum, but we'll find out. Sure. Another deep mushroom in a box. Alright. That about does it for this locked room. Let's check the map again. We can come down here to the chapel, which I would like to do. Hope I don't trigger anything. Mother Mallow.
Maker, prepare a place for us. Redeem our world from sin. Forgive our transgressions.
Maker, forgive us all!
Have you come to pray for your brother and father? I'd be happy to ask for the Maker's blessings with you.
I would appreciate that, Mother Malal.
Please, child, call me Malol. I've known you since you were a wee babe after all. Creator of the sky, the land, and the sea. Hear your people in our time of need.
Make her watch over us.
Let no man have cause to fear the shadows. Let their souls be lifted upon your return. So let it be.
Make her forgive us all.
There now. I'll be keeping a vigil tonight. You're welcome to come. There are many more who must receive the Maker's blessings before they leave. If you would excuse me.
Thank you, Malal.
It is the least I could do. If the worst comes to pass, child, take comfort in knowing that the Maker's will takes many forms.
Indeed.
We shall talk once the soldiers have departed.
Cool. The Maker. Nifty.
Evening, my lord.
And we've got a book. The Chant of Light, the Blight. Alright, let's F5. Let's see how long we've been playing because... Okay, 35 minutes. Good. Just enough time to continue reading the codex. Let's see. How do we see which ones are... Okay. So if we go to Magic and Religion, there's 3 new ones. The Chant of Light, the Blight. No matter their power, their triumph, the Mage Lords of Tevinter were men and doomed to die. Then a voice whispered within their hearts, shall you surrender your power to time like the beasts of the fields? You are the lords of the earth. Go forth to claim the empty throne of heaven and be gods. In secret they worked, magic upon magic, all their power and all their vanity. They turned against the veil until at last it gave way. Above them a river of light. Before them the throne of heaven, waiting. Beneath their feet the footprints of the Maker, and all around them echoed a vast silence. But when they took a single step toward the empty throne, a great voice cried out, shaking the very foundations of heaven and earth. And so is the golden city blackened. With each step you take in my hall, marvel at perfection, for it is fleeting. You have brought sin to heaven and doom upon all the world. Violently were they cast down, for no mortal may walk bodily in the realm of dreams, bearing the mark of their crime, bodies so maimed and distorted that none should see them and know them for men. Deep into the earth they fled, away from the light. In darkness eternal they searched for those who had goaded them on, until at last they found their prize, their god, their betrayer, the sleeping dragon Dumat. Their taint twisted even the false god, and the whisperer awoke at last in pain and horror, and led them to wreak havoc upon all nations of the world, the first blight. From Threnodies 8. The commandments of the Maker. These truths the Maker has revealed to me, and there is but one world, one life, one death. There is but one God, and he is our Maker. They are sinners who have given their love to false gods. Magic exists to serve man and never to rule over him. Foul and corrupt are they who have taken his gift and turned it against his children. They shall be named Maleficar, accursed ones. They shall find no rest in this world or beyond. All men are the work of our Maker's hands, from the lowest slaves to the highest kings. Those who bring harm without provocation to the least of his children are hated and accursed by the Maker. Those who bear false witness and work to deceive others know this, there is but one truth. All things are known to our Maker, and he shall judge their lies. All things in this world are finite. When one man gains, another has lost. Those who steal from their brothers and sisters do harm to their livelihood and to their peace of mind. Our Maker sees us with a heavy heart. Transfigurations 1 through 5. The Maker. There was no word for heaven or for earth, for sea or sky. All that existed was silence. Then the voice of the Maker rang out, the first word, and his word became all that might be, dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities, and from it made his firstborn, and he said to them, in my image I forge you, to you I give dominion over all that exists, by your will may all things be done. Then in the center of heaven he called forth a city with towers of gold, streets with music for cobblestones, and banners which flew without wind. There he dwelled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. The children of the Maker gathered before his golden throne and sang hymns of praise unending. But their songs were the songs of the cobblestones. They shone with the golden light, reflected from the Maker's throne. They held forth the banners that flew on their own. And the voice of the Maker shook the Fade, saying, In my image I have wrought my firstborn. You have been given dominion over all that exists. By your will all things are done, yet you do nothing. The realm I have given you is formless, ever-changing. And he knew he had wrought amiss. So the Maker turned from his firstborn, and took from the Fade a measure of its living flesh, and placed it apart from the spirits, and spoke to it, saying, Here I decree opposition in all things, for earth, sky, for winter, summer, for darkness, light. By my will alone is balance sundered, and the world given new life. And no longer was it formless, ever-changing, but held fast, immutable, with words for heaven and for earth, sea and sky. At last did the Maker, from the living world, make men, immutable as the substance of the earth, with souls made of dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. Then the Maker said, To you, my second-born, I grant this gift. In your heart shall burn an unquenchable flame, all-consuming and never satisfied. From the Fade I crafted you, and to the Fade you shall return, each night in dreams, that you may always remember me. And then the Maker sealed the gates of the golden city, and there he dwelled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. Threnodies 5, 1-8. Wow, they really went deep with this. Oh, wow, we've got a lot here, and my mouth is so dry. $117. Yeah, we're going to have to read these next time, I think. What else is there? Controls. Locked item. Plot helpers. Plot helpers are markers on your current area map that indicate where you need to go to progress in your active quest. Maybe we can do these now. Ferelden, as we think of it now, did not exist before the Exalted Age. Instead, the valley was divided up into dozens of old Alamari clans. They warred constantly with one another over land, honor, the allegiance of the freeholders, and, on one notable occasion, the name given to a favorite Mabari. And then, in the 33rd year of the Exalted Age, Calenhad Theron became Tyrn of Denerim, and everything changed. Most of what we know about the founding of our nation comes from old songs that the bards passed down through the ages. The songs are filled with wild exaggerations and outright lies, but this hardly differs from the scholarly papers of some of my contemporaries. There is no agreement among poets or scholars on how he did it, but Calenhad gained the support of the Circle of Magi, and they crafted for him a suit of silvery white armor that, by all accounts, repelled both arrow and blade. Calenhad led his army across the valley and captured Redcliffe, one of only 3 men who ever successfully laid siege to that fortress, and presented himself to the bands of Landsmeet as their king. The poets tell us that every lord knelt before Calenhad without question. The fact that he attended the Landsmeet, surrounded by ash warriors and loyal mages of the Circle, is generally omitted from the ballads, however. From Calenhad came the line of Therian kings and queens who reigned, uninterrupted, until the 44th year of the Blessed Age, where the Orlesian invasion came. The rightful king was forced to flee Denerim, and for 70 years a puppet sat upon the throne. From Ferelden, Folklore and History by Sister Petrine, Chantry Scholar. That's interesting. That's just really interesting to set kind of the history. I'm starting to see it come together. I hope you guys are too, because it's pretty neat stuff. Chapter 2. We'll go ahead and finish these. The occupation was a dark blot on Ferelden's history. Our people, who from time immemorial value their freedom over all else, were forced to bow to Orlesian rule. The Empire declared our elves property and sold them like cattle. Chevaliers routinely plundered freeholds of coin, food, and even women and children, and excused it as taxation. And for 70 years, no landsmeets were held, for the imperial throne had declared our ancient laws a form of treason. King Brandel was one of those who escaped. He tried to organize the other fugitive lords to retake their land, but Brandel was neither clever nor persuasive, and the nobles preferred to take their chances alone. Ferelden might still be a little more than a territory of the Empire were it not for the fact that his daughter had all the charisma and that her royal father lacked. The rebel queen's rule began with a midnight attack on the imperial armory at Lothering. It was a swift and successful, and with their pilfered arms, the rebels began a campaign against the Orlesians in earnest. But the turning point of the war came when a young freeholder joined the Queen's army. The lad, Logain MacTyr, possessed a remarkable talent for strategy and quickly became the favorite advisor of young Prince Merrick. The Queen finally died at the hands of Orlesian sympathizers anxious to curry favor with their painted masters, and Merrick took her place as the leader of the rebellion. Logain became Merrick's right hand. Merrick and Logain led the rebels in a new campaign against their Orlesian oppressors, culminating in the Battle of River Dane, where the last Chevaliers in Denerim were crushed. With the capital once more in the hands of Fereldens, the battle to free our people was finally over, but the battle to rebuild what had been lost had only just begun. From Ferelden, Folklore and History. Culture of Ferelden. The Fereldens are a puzzle. As a people, they are one bad day away from reverting to barbarism. They repelled invasions from Tevinter during the height of the Imperium with nothing but dogs and their own obstinate disposition. They are the coarse, willful, dirty, disorganized people who somehow gave rise to our prophet, ushered in an era of enlightenment, and toppled the greatest empire in history. There are a few things you can assume safely in dealing with these people. First, they value loyalty above all things, beyond wealth, beyond power, beyond reason. Second, although they have nothing in their entire country which you are likely to think at all remarkable, they are extremely proud of their accomplishments. Third, if you insult their dogs, they are likely to declare war. And finally, the surest sign that you have underestimated the Fereldens is that you think you have come to understand them. Empress Celine I of Orlais, in a letter to her newly appointed ambassador to Denerim. Toppled the greatest empire in history. Is that Orlais? Or is that when Calenhad captured Redcliffe? Geography of Ferelden. The Kingdom of Ferelden is the southernmost civilized nation in Thedas, although some scholars dispute that claim to civilization. It is perhaps the most physically isolated of all the kingdoms of Thedas. To the east is the Amaranthine coast, to the north the Waking Sea, and to the south the Kokari Wilds, which in summer months are a vast peat bog and in the winter become a treacherous labyrinth of iced over waterways. The Frostback Mountains guard the western border, and only a narrow plain between the mountains and the sea allows travel between Ferelden and Orlais. And to the south is the Kokari Wilds, okay. I can picture all this in my head. Most of the land in the central portion of the kingdom, called the Banorn, is open plains. These are crossed by the remnants of an ancient Tevinter highway that once connected Val Royeaux with Ostagar on the edge of the Kokari Wilds. The western part of Ferelden is dominated by Lake Calenhad, a huge caldera filled by the runoff of glaciers from nearby mountains. Lake Calenhad is home to the famed fortress of Redcliffe, as well as the Circle Tower, which houses Ferelden's Circle of Magi. In the east is the vast Brazilian forest, which the superstitious locals profess to be haunted, and from which rises the Dragon's Peak, a solitary mountain that guards the capital city of Denerim. Dang, this sounds cool as heck, man. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Chantry Scholar by Brother Genetivi. Last one. The noble families of Ferelden. The occupation left empty castles in its wake. Whole families were butchered in the initial invasion, and all those who couldn't or wouldn't bend knee to the Emperor's puppet king were declared traitors and hunted. Many bloodlines ended on Chevalier's blades at dusty crossroads, in forest clearings, or in freeholds. And then there were the turncoats. To curry favor with their new masters, some nobles took up arms against their brothers. They betrayed and murdered the rebel queen, an act that created even more vacant titles and lands once King Merrick exacted justice. That Ferelden did not fall apart after the Orlesians left is a testament to the strength of King Merrick. The old families still held grudges against those who had sided with the Empire, and those new families that had been granted titles were viewed as interlopers. The lands meets that followed Merrick's coronation were tense, to say the least. From Ferelden Folklore and History. So cool stuff. I hope you enjoyed this episode, which was mostly reading and stuff and talking to some people. But we're actually going to visit a lot of these places, I'm sure. So, oh, there's a book right there.
As you say.
Let's go ahead and grab that. Bride of the Maker. Dang, Bride of the Maker. That sounds interesting. We'll go ahead and read that next time. Let's go ahead and head out and make a proper save, because I've done enough talking in this one. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Next time, we'll read Bride of the Maker and then head to more of these rooms that aren't marked, and then finally we'll make our way over to I missed this room, to the atrium, to this room, and then to Brother Fergus's room. So stay tuned for that. Much love, peace, and joy, guys. Really appreciate your viewership. See you next time. Stay cool.